happened. You got this first one.
Tonight on NSEN, see how Smashville responded to winning this year's President's Trophy.
Plus, we'll take a live look actually, at the Blue Raiders baseball game tonight.
Also, we're going to give you an update of the area's high school action.
All those stories and more. NSEN starts right now. Us this evening. I'm Victor Benz.
And I'm Jonas Sage. Welcome to NSEN.
Now, Jonas, it's become a tradition before we start the show that we just have to let everybody out there know to tweet along with us on the show and ask us plenty of your questions.
That's right. I mean, if you have a question that you want us to answer for tonight's show, please tweet us at NSEN_MT. I know we changed the underscore to 1 instead of 2. I'm sure you're all used to that by now.
But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the show. For the first time in franchise history, the Nashville Predators are crowned President's Trophy winners. The Predators accepted the award before their season finale against the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday night. The President's Trophy, well, I guess it's the same thing now, is awarded each year to the NHL team that accumulates the most points throughout the course of the regular season. Despite the trophy being an elite accomplishment, during the regular season, it rarely translates over into the playoffs. Since its creation of the trophy back in 1985, only 8 teams have won the President's Trophy and hosted the Stanley Cup Finals in the same season. The last team that was able to win the President's Trophy and the Stanley Cup in the same season, the Chicago Blackhawks, back in 2013. Since then, no President's Trophy winning franchise has made it out of the conference finals. With many teams like the Washington Capitals and the New York Rangers losing both before the Stanley Cup Finals, many people believe that the regular season distinction, it might be cursed.
But before the Preds can get ready for their playoff quest and see if the curse truly is real, they still have a final regular season game to play. In the first period, it seemed to be all Predators getting shot after shot, but Joonas Korpisalo held the fort for the first few minutes. But then havoc came. First, a pass from Mike Fisher over to Watson, a snipe on the right side to give the Predators first blood. A few minutes later, however, Philip Forsberg with the short blast on the left side to give Nashville a quick 2-0 lead just minutes into the game. But that's not all. Forsberg, or should I say Scoresberg, again, top shelf please. Now a 3-0 lead as time expires in the first. The Blue Jackets would try and get out of this hole with this breakaway by Anderson. Then in the third, a short-handed goal by Dubinsky put the lead down to 3-2 with under 13 minutes to go in the third. But the Preds refused to blow a 3-0 lead. An empty netter by Scoresberg, which gives him the hat trick, gave the Preds the 4-2 win.
While the MLB is having their opening weeks, the minors have just now been getting underway, with the Nashville traveling to take on the New Orleans Baby Cakes. In their first series, the first game went right on all aspects, beating the Baby Cakes 11-0 with 16 hits, including 2 bombs from Mark Connor and Franklin Barrato. After that, however, a drought of runs plagued the team, scoring only 1 run in back-to-back games, losing 5-1 and 2-1. The offense picked up some steam in the fourth game, but the 3 errors did not help their chances, losing to New Orleans in the series finale 7-4. The series showcased a lot of early problems for the Sounds, including having 8 errors in 4 games. Some standout performers were Jorge Mateo and Dustin Fowler, who hit 5 for 16 and 6 for 21 respectively. The Sounds are looking ahead to their home opener tonight, which is currently going on right now, and I believe Jonas has an update for us, Jonas.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Going into the game, a home opener against the Iowa Cubs. They're up 4-0 right now. Some standout performers. James Nail, who has still yet to allow a run in his 2 starts. They just finished the top of the 6th inning, 4-0. Dustin Fowler, B.J. Boyd, both going off pretty well. And although March Madness is over, madness in the college hoops world is still going on. A couple of college sports were filled in Conference USA recently. UTEP named Rodney Terry their new head coach. Terry was the head coach at Fresno State since 2011 and led them to a conference title just 2 years ago. The Charlotte 49ers also found themselves with a new coach in Ron Sanchez. This is Sanchez's first head coaching position, and he worked as an assistant for multiple programs, most recently Virginia. Going out of conference now, Chris Mack will be taking over coaching duties for the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville spent this past season under intern coach David Padgett after Rick Pitino was fired due to scandal. And finally, the Dan Hurley era is underway in Connecticut as he takes over for UConn. Hurley spent 6 seasons at the University of Rhode Island and 2 years at Wagner.
An up-and-coming MTSU program is looking for people to expand their brand. The MTSU ice hockey team are offering internship positions. The program is offering multiple positions, including graphic designer, videographer, stats tracker, and even a game DJ. If you are interested in any of these positions, email the team at mtsuicehockeyclub@gmail.com. All positions are on a volunteer basis only.
And we talked about the Sounds earlier, but now MT Baseball is actually going underway. They're taking on Belmont as we speak. We actually have Will Lyles live at the stadium. Will, we heard great things about MT. What's going on?
Thanks, guys. I'm live here from Reese Smith Jr. Field, where it's been a beautiful night for some baseball. A little bit chilly nonetheless, but perfect for some baseball. We had Belmont here in the Borough tonight, and they're looking to get some revenge over MTSU. And I don't know if y'all remember, but MTSU beat Belmont in Nashville 24-4. It was an absolute drumming 2 weeks ago, and now Belmont's trying to get some revenge here. And the bats were looking a little bit flat towards the beginning part of the game. The bats didn't come alive until MTSU's third inning, and that's when Kevin Sullivan started things off with a double down the right field line. And then right after that, we had MTSU had it was Austin Dennis, and he had a RBI single to get a 1-0 lead for the Raiders. And then MTSU's batter after that was Aaron Ocker, and he got a single, and then it was Dennis who stole third, and then right after that, Belmont threw a wild pitch, there was a hit by pitch, and there was an error, all consecutively, and that was to give MTSU a 3-0 lead going into the fourth inning. And then right after that, things got broke open again in the bottom of the fourth inning, while MTSU packed on another 3 runs to get a 6-0 lead. Right now, it's currently 7-0, and it's the top of the 8th inning. Belmont's pitching versus MTSU's pitching. It's been a tale of two stories here tonight. Belmont has had a kind of a flop of a night so far. Their pitching is not shown out that much, with MTSU getting 10 hits and 7 runs. MTSU, on the other hand, they have had a stellar night so far, throwing a 3 hits shutout so far, while they have thrown 2 strikeouts as well. And they have a reliever in right now, and he's just been doing great things. He's been able to get strikeouts, and he's been able to get line outs and everything like that. The pitching has just been going great for MTSU so far. And so far, a key for MTSU the rest of the night is just to keep people going around them bases and keep Belmont from just getting on base. They've had a lot of 1, 2, 3 innings so far, so MTSU has been great with being able to keep the game moving on their side of the ball. And that's it. That's it from here at Reese Smith Jr. Field. Thanks, guys, and back to you at the desk.
Thank you very much, Will. Of course, it's always great to see MTSU really rebound, especially after getting swept by the Thundering Herd.
Yeah, but still ahead on NSEN. See how the MTSU softball team fared this past weekend.
Also, we'll tell you how the Blue Raider baseball team surprised many over the weekend.
Dear humans, this is an adoption campaign, but it's not for me, or Mr. Buttons, or Frank over there. It's for you, humans. This is a call to humans to adopt our movement, to adopt our cause.
This isn't just about saving one of us.
It's about saving all of us.
Nearly 4,100 lives every single day.
It's about support for every one of us and sometimes not four-legged best friends waiting to meet a best friend of our own. With Best Friends Animal Society leading the charge.
Shelter by shelter, city by city.
We can make this entire country no-kill.
Join us.
Together we can save them all.
Us. It's what this country is made of. A helping hand, a shoulder to lean on. Different voices.
Hello.
One sacred bond. But right now, that bond is fraying. Where do we find common ground? How do we get back to us? The why fills the gaps and bridges our divides. Now, more than ever, the why needs your support. Because where there's a why, there's an us. For a better us, support your local why today.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Jonas, it was a lot of action on the diamond this past week for both programs here on campus.
Absolutely, especially the tennis team having a great season as well. They're 19-4 and have won 7 in a row. You got to look out for them going into the tournament. Speaking of tennis, baseball, and softball, we've got our men Nathan and Kendrick talking about it and more. Guys?
Well, thank you very much, Jonas and Vic. Well, heading into the week as the number 45 team in the nation, the MTSU men's tennis team was looking to show why they are among the best in the nation. Well, taking on two opponents that gave MT a hard time last year in VCU and William & Mary at home over the weekend, the Blue Raiders had the poise of a nationally ranked squad. The Rams of VCU were up first, with the Rams striking first in doubles. VCU following that up with wins at the number 1 and number 2 single spots, but MTSU's depth, which has been a strength all season long, would shine through as MT would win this match 4-3 over the Rams, with wins from Miguel Negre, Chris Edge, Jean Issa, and Luis Murillo Diaz. It was Edge's win in a decisive third set that pushed MT over the top. Thankfully for MT, its match versus William & Mary on Sunday was less stressful. Tom Moonen and Chris Edge would secure the opening doubles point and a tie break to give MT an early 1-0 lead. Moonen then followed that up with a win at number 1 singles, as MTSU would tie the record for the most wins under head coach Jimmy Borndame with a 5-2 win versus the Tribe. And another milestone, Kendrick Jean Issa, with 2 wins in singles over the weekend, has moved to number 7 in the all-time singles wins in MTSU history. MTSU now also up to number 43 in the ITA rankings that came out this week. Well, for the MTSU women's team, however, a big CUSA slate at the ATC over the weekend. They opened that one up with number 41 ranked FIU. The Panthers showed why they earned that ranking, as FIU ended up winning 4-1 versus the Blue Raiders. The lone win for the Blue Raiders came at number 6 singles from Lydia Burrows, but this Blue Raider team bounced back and showed its resilience versus Marshall on Saturday. Down 1-5 with the doubles point on the line, Josefina Zander and Costanza Magazzini winning 6 straight games to secure the opening point for MT 7-5. That proved to be a massive point, as MTSU would lose in the top 3 singles spots, but thanks to a strong performance from the bottom of the lineup, Kendrick, including Lydia Burrows again, MTSU would pull this match out 4-3. This win makes MTSU's record 15-7 on the year, the most wins ever in the Charlie Ramsey era for MTSU. And speaking of great seasons for MTSU, the softball team had a great start to the year, but they've been in a bit of a slump. Kendrick, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Nathan, the MTSU softball team took on UT Martin Wednesday afternoon at the Blue Raiders softball field. The Skyhawks would strike first in the game, scoring one run in the first and the third inning. The fourth inning rolled around, and UT Martin would add 2 more runs after an infield single put Haley Flynn on base, and another infield single hit would send her home on a couple plays later, stretching the lead 4-0. Summer Burgess would strike for the Blue Raiders' first hit of the game, and Lexi Cushion picked up an RBI as she grounded out the short, cutting the lead 4-1. But it wouldn't be enough as the Skyhawks soared for the win 4-1. We caught on with Summer Burgess to talk about how the team can improve heading into next week's game.
positives we can take, but at the same time, we just got to come out better, more focused. Might be a weekday game, but they're in state, they're a big rival. We have to come out better.
The Blue Raiders would drop the header 2-0 against the University of Kentucky. MT falls to 23-14 on the season. Up next, they are battling the Belmont Bruins tonight in Nashville.
Thank you very much, Kendrick. On the other side of the diamond, the baseball team did not have a weekend that most thought they would. Coming off a huge win over top 25 ranked Vanderbilt, now is the time to get some momentum going. That wasn't the case this past weekend as they got swept by the Marshall Thundering Herd here in Murfreesboro. The Thundering Herd ended up scoring 11 runs on only 9 hits during the first game of the series as they would go on to win 11-0. In the second game, Marshall took a 5-0 lead that extended into the top of the 7th. The Raiders pulled within 1 run, but that eventually would fall 6-4 at the end of that game. Marshall once again proved in the third game that they were too much for middle as they took that one fairly easily. 3-0 lead, cruised to a 9-4 win at the end of that game. So MTSU's next game will be here in the Borough tonight against OVC opponent Belmont, and we will be going live to Will Lives with an update on that game later. MTSU will also be facing another OVC opponent in Tennessee Tech here in Murfreesboro Wednesday. The Golden Eagles currently own the nation's longest winning streak at 16 games, and they are sitting at 25-5 on the year, Kendrick. That's incredible.
That is incredible.
This game got pushed back due to weather and was originally supposed to be played on February 28th. So let's go into the standings for the CUSA Baseball Conference. And the Blue Raiders are currently 17-15 overall and 5-7 in conference play. That's good enough for 7th place in the conference, and they are also only 2.5 games behind 4th place. That's the UTSA Roadrunners in that spot. The Blue Raiders gave Marshall 3 of their 4 conference wins this past weekend, and Middle's next CUSA foe will be Rice this upcoming weekend. Well, that is all for us for me and Kendrick. We're going to send it back to the desk to Jonas and Vic.
Thank you very much, Nathan and Kendrick. Of course, no bagels and breadsticks from Nathan, but thankfully it's the wins that are most important, and the men's and women's sides both had them. Still to come, it's playoff time at Smashville. We'll give you a preview of this year's NHL postseason.
Also, we'll tell you a little bit about the newest Tennessee Titan right after the break.
Sometimes, one moment changes everything. One song, one game, one adventure, one mission. For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. You can transform lives, one wish at a time. Support Make-A-Wish and help grant more life-changing wishes. Learn more at wish.org.
Everyone deserves a decent place to live.
Everyone.
Decent shelter is something we all need to thrive. When a future homeowner partners with Habitat for Humanity to build or improve a home,
Build.
they build a better future for themselves and their families.
For my family.
For my family.
For my family.
Para mi familia.
Your support empowers a family to help themselves.
Help.
Assiste.
Your support helps another family in your community or around the world achieve strength, stability, self-reliance.
Strength.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other.
Welcome back to NSEN. Earlier, we discussed the topic of the Nashville Predators' historic President's Trophy victory and the potential curse that might come with it, Jonas.
Well, is it a curse or is it a blessing? Let me tell you, since the 2001-2002 season, every 5 NHL seasons, the President's Trophy winner has won the Stanley Cup. Last going to the Blackhawks, the Red Wings, and then the Red Wings again. So it's happened 3 times, and it may happen a 4th time. But before we talk Stanley Cup Finals, the Preds have to get past the Colorado Avalanche in the first round. For more on that, we're going to kick it over to Elijah Campbell and Jimmy Covington for a Preds playoff preview, as well as our weekly pro sports update.
Thanks, guys. Well, Jimmy, you know, they said it. It's playoff time in Smashville, and the Predators have arguably the best chance to win Lord Stanley's Cup.
I'm excited for playoff hockey, and we've talked a lot about the Preds' red hot regular season on this show. How far do you think they can take this thing, and what needs to happen for them to get over the top?
It's a really good question, Jimmy. Well, we all know how lights out Pekka Rinne has been all season long, but if the Preds want to redeem themselves after last year's falling in the Stanley Cup Finals and win all the marbles, they're going to have to keep bumping up their offensive production. They are a really deep team, Jimmy. They got, I think the numbers will show, they have 4 players with at least 20-plus goals.
So kind of like the 2015 Hawks.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, they're kind of like the 2015 Hawks, and a lot of other similarities. You know, they won the regular season in their conference. But the difference with the Hawks was they couldn't get over the hump in the playoffs because they couldn't stop the other team's best player, LeBron James. When they came in. And I know we're bridging basketball and hockey right here, but the Colorado Avalanche have a guy like that, Nathan MacKinnon. Now, he's not the absolute best player in the league, but he might be one of the most improved. He's one of the top goal scorers in all the NHL. He's really good at getting his teammates involved. He's top 5 in points, and that's something that the Colorado Avalanche haven't had a lot recently. But to keep going on with that depth, the Avalanche don't have that depth. The Nashville Predators do. They have, I want to say it's 13 players with 10-plus goals, and Ryan Ellis has 9 of those goals. Now remember, Ryan Ellis missed a lot of the time in the regular season due to an injury, and those 9 goals came in a really short time. So really, they pretty much have 14 guys who can score goals, who've done it at least 10 times in the regular season. And you have role players like Austin Watson who score shorthanded goals and have really come out and had breakout seasons. And if they really want to get past Colorado and make a stretch, they can rely on Pekka Rinne, but they just need to keep that consistent scoring up from guys at other lines as well. And that's one thing that makes the Preds better than almost any other team is that their defenders score. They have one of the best scoring defenses in the NHL with PK Subban, Roman Josi, Matthias Ekholm, and Ryan Ellis. That's 2-3 lines of guys they have that give you solid scoring on the defensive end. And last but not least, your should-be Vezina Award winner, Pekka Rinne, best goalie in hockey this year. Goaltending does win championships, and you ride the back of Pekka Rinne, and you can go a long, long way. So, Jimmy, if you ask me to give a prediction on at least the first round of the playoffs, I like the Preds to win in 5. I think Colorado steals maybe Game 3 or Game 4 in Denver, but I don't think it's going to be that close. But moving on, from the rink to the NFL, because seemingly the NFL offseason just never ends, whether it be free agency or the draft, the Titans are still making some noise. And Jimmy, had a couple signings this week. Tell us about that.
Yes, well, one of the signings was linebacker Will Compton. It came from the Washington Redskins. Will Compton is not an overly athletic guy, but he gets the job done. He produces. He's a leader. He's one of those guys that every linebacking core needs. He does the dirty work. A few seasons ago, he was second on the team in tackles, but this past year, he was hindered by injury, so he didn't produce as much. But I think overall, it's going to be a great signing for the Titans. It's going to really help them out.
And that wasn't the only sign they had, too. Tell me a little more about Benny Logan. Now, a lot of people know of his name or how well he's really going to fit in the Titans defense compared to what happened in Kansas City with him. How do you think he's going to fit in on this new-look Titans defense?
Well, Benny Logan was the nose tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs last year. He racked up 52 tackles and 1.5 sacks. He's the defensive tackle in 3-4 defense, meaning he plays the run. He's supposed to play the run primarily. He's a very athletic guy. He can stop the gaps and he can help with the run. He doesn't provide much pass rush, but coming from the 3-4, you get most of the different defensive ends and the outside linebackers. So.
Do you think that'll help in, I guess, the pass defense too? That's really been a focus. They don't get in the backfield really well. You think he can at least affect a passing game on the defensive side?
Absolutely. I think if he puts in the work, he can definitely become a good pass rusher. I haven't seen him do that well on the pass rushing so far, so it remains to be seen. Hopefully he does, because I want to see the Titans be great on defense.
Oh, yeah, and of course, I'll ask you one more question here, and that's with the 2 signings that the Titans have gotten on defense right now, do you think you address that in the draft?
Still for depth reasons. I still think you take Rashawn Evans at linebacker because he's more athletic than Will Compton, but he still needs to learn. You know, no rookie comes in ready and knows everything, so he still needs to learn from a veteran guy like Will Compton.
All right, sounds good. It'll be exciting to see the Titans on defense next year. But that's all we have for pro sports. We're going to kick it back to the dudes at the desk. Fellas.
Thank you very much. Of course, Nashville sports, they are a brewing with the Stanley Cup playoffs and a new season, a lot of potential for the Titans. Who knows what could happen? Still to come on NSEN, we'll have updates on sports across Rutherford County, including baseball, softball, and soccer.
And that includes the Siegel Stars, who are 17th in the nation. Find out how they did next. Actually, we're going to keep it right here. We're going to look at this week's action from Rutherford County schools in baseball. Last week, Riverdale went to play Siegel for a 3-game series and lose all 3 games. After Riverdale saw some stars, Siegel saw the stars after losing to Independence High School 5-2 on Saturday. Oakland lost a close one to Spring Hill over the week in 5-4.
Now on some Rutherford County softball action. You talked about Siegel in baseball. In softball, they're number 17th in the nation and number 1 in the state. They played the Oakland Patriots in a close game that went to 9 innings, and the Stars took the win with Smyrna took a big win against Centennial with beating them 12-2. Now Riverdale will play at Smyrna on Thursday, and they actually beat the Bulldogs 7-2.
Now let's get a start with some high school soccer. The Blackman Blaze played the Warren County in a big game where the Blaze took the win 3-1. Siegel Stars played Wilson County on Thursday, and Wilson County left the game scoreless. With the score 1-0, Lebanon played in a close game with Wilson Central, with the score being 3-2 in a Lebanon victory. And actually, we're going to give you an update right now as well as we shift from high school back to home here for Murfreesboro, that the game is actually in the 9th inning right now. MTSU is up 9-0. After an Aaron Ocker home run, like I said, to give them 9-0 right now. How do you feel about this game and the flow right now, Jonas?
Well, especially after the sweep against the Thundering Herd, it's great to see the improvement back from that series over to Belmont. Of course, they said that I believe it was 24-4 against Belmont. So it's been huge to get those runs going up and getting that consistency. Like MTSU as a whole has been pretty inconsistent on the baseball end. So it's great to see the consistency in at least this game and hopefully the series.
And switching diamonds right now, just wanted to give you an update live from the capital of Tennessee. It looks like MTSU just beat Belmont 7-2. 7-2, like I said, that's a big win for the softball team bouncing back. So how do you feel about this?
Absolutely. And the softball team's had a pretty good season so far as well. Nationally, it's very surprising. I looked at the national rankings earlier in the year. They're lower than their record indicates they should be. I think they're in the lower 90s, and we have teams in the 60s that are below 500. So this could be an undervalued team going into the tournament, especially the Conference USA tournament. Of course, you've got players like Lexi Cushing that can really help the team as a whole, and Corey Jennings, which is a fantastic pitcher.
And it was a great show, everybody, and I appreciate everybody for watching. I'm Victor Vince.
I'm Jonas H.
Join you guys next week.